YouTube. What are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about 5 of my knives that I think are the most visually striking knives I have either purchased or been given. So yeah, you know what time it is. If you're watching on headphones, turn down the volume because here comes a little bit of music. Hey, past Mike here. Just wanted to throw it out there so that future Mike always forgets. If you haven't checked out the merch store, there's a lot of stuff in there. I got sweatshirts, I got t-shirts, I got coffee cups. There's a link in the description. If you want to support the channel, all the sales go to the merch store and providing the stuff, but then I get a portion of the take of it. So like I said, merch store, sweatshirts, t-shirts, coffee cups, they're all really nice. Now, back to future Mike so he can tell you about a knife. We are going to talk about 5 knives that I think represent really, really well the idea of pocket art or functional art. Some people call it pocket jewelry. Some people call it man jewelry because a lot of times men are the ones that are carrying these items. But before we get into it and get down to the table, let's take a look here. This is Watch Mojo. It's a channel that I watch on YouTube pretty regularly. They have compilation lists. They talk about weird movies. It's a really good, fun channel to watch if you're just bored and things like that. So there will be a link to their channel in the description below. So before we drag this out any further, let's go ahead and meet up down at the bench and look at these knives that I've picked out for you that I think represent the idea of pocket art or man jewelry, however you want to look at it. All right, guys. So I went through my collection and I was just looking at knives that I own that I think are really striking visually. Now I have other knives that could be considered striking visually, but these are the ones that really stood out. Like this one is attractive and I've done things to it, but these are all knives that, with the exception of the ceramic on this and the anodizing on this, I picked as striking because this is how they came from the maker. Like I said, I did some anodizing on this. I'm not talking about the colors on this being so striking, just the overall design. So in no particular order, you will notice that there are 3 Ferrum Forge knives here. And that's because 2 of these are maker's choice and 1 of these is a production. So let's go ahead and we will take a look at them from left to right. So the first knife that I think is incredibly striking is my spinner. This is a Ferrum Forge maker's choice when they were still doing in-house designs. So all of this was done hand carved by Elliot. The anodizing was done by Christopher. And I know the anodizing isn't showing up as clearly as I'd like, but it's kind of a blue and bronze mix. And then the blade was ceramic coated, first by Elliot in this same kind of blackish bronze. And then I had to redo it because I did carry this knife a lot and I just kind of destroyed some of the ceramic coating and then I recoated it myself. So this is not Elliot's fault that coating does not look up to snuff, but super attractive. And just the fact that in your pocket, if you pull this out, this gets attention because people look at it like, wow, that looks like a fish. And I'm like, yeah, it's called the marlin. Can you see it? Yeah, see, it's like a marlin. Gorgeous, gorgeous knife. Lots and lots of detail work on this. Even the pocket clip, just hand carved with a 1/32 end mill done in a Dremel, and not even the nice ones with the cable. This was just one of the standard Dremels that you just can buy at Walmart or Home Depot that doesn't even have the extension cable. It's just the Dremel, the motor and everything right above it. So to carry on to the next one, this is another hand-carved Elliot Williamson maker's choice. Now this one was a gift to me. A lot of people love seeing this in videos because this is truly, truly a gorgeous knife. And as you can see, this knife gets a lot of use because it is a workhorse. And the nice thing is these aren't your delicate, none of these knives here are like your delicate collector knives that you're afraid to use. These are all workhorse knives that can easily be carried and everything. It's just that they are visually attractive and striking. This was done as a gift for me from my friend Matthew and my friend Nico. Elliot did the carving and everything for them in a fashion that they knew I'd like. Brass inlay that was just hammered down in and then carved. As you can see, it's not even, that's not even just down low. This was the original height of the scale. And then Elliot milled out a groove and hammered this copper in and left it tall and carved that all out in a fashion, the biomechanical fashion, like the Geiger-esque stuff that he does that I really love. Textured both sides, textured the pocket clip, even went as far as texturing the internal hardware, the standoffs. So really, really nice. It needs an anodizing job. This needs to be redone in gold. I have a third knife that kind of, I might pull it up and show you, that is it's not a maker's choice. It was a one-off that he did that I also own. And we'll bring that up as the honorable mention when we finish this. But yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous knife. And the fact is, like I said, all of these knives, even though they are super, super artful and beautiful, well, these two especially, they are still functional and usable. This is a knife that I use all the time. Super comfortable, super easy to use, great, great blade shape. Everything about it is a functional item. Let's go ahead and put those over there. So the next one is not striking because I did do some extra work. That's a bronzed, I bronze anode the backspacer, and I two-tone anode the pocket clip with an orange peel and things like that. But even before that, when I first got this knife, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful knife. The two separate grinds, the hollow and the flat, just give it a really, really striking. This is my Chavez Ultramar Street. It is basically a smaller version of the 228, which was a production version of his Redemption. So this is a smaller version. Action on this, it's amazing. But what really, really sets it apart is look at that pocket clip. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't like the pocket clip. It's too big. It's too bulky. I find it attractive. This is one of those knives that is in my collection, basically for aesthetics only. But the fact is, this is one of the smoothest knives in my collection. Action on it is amazing. This was done by Riat when Ramon decided that he was going to start doing production knives outside of the Chavez American-made moniker when he closed that, basically that production house. So like I said, I did do some work on it. The pocket clip was two-toned by me. The orange peel was done by me. The ceramic was done by me. And I just wanted to accent the fact it was already a visually striking knife. And it's a lot of it has to do with these simple, clean lines on this knife. Beautiful, beautiful knife. Then this is one that people are like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I do have to admit, sometimes these Alamic knives can be a little bit much for some people, but I find them super comfortable. So not only is this knife really attractive, this knife is super comfortable, super functional. The only thing I've done was I refinished the blade and did anno work. I did not do any of this stone wash, the rock pattern. That all was already there. The backspacer was already polished. I did repolish it to do the green anno, but I didn't really change anything on this knife except the color and the blade finish. So these are great, great knives, super functional, again, attractive if that's what you're into. Some people don't find them as attractive as I do. I really like this aesthetic. Like I said, I can't ever get this one to finger flick. Super comfortable. So none of these knives here are anything but a functional knife that just happens to have some little extra bells and whistles when it comes to the looks department. And I will tell you, this is one of the most comfortable pocket clips on any knife I've ever owned. I immediately figured that these would be uncomfortable, that it would hurt my hand. but it does not. And in and out of pocket, that ceramic ball set in that thin titanium, perfect tension on that. And it's effortless in and out of the pocket. And just the fact that you have so many spots where you can pick up color and catch a facet in the light just makes it even more appealing to the eye. And so to the last knife that is not a folding knife, I purchased this from Elliot. This is my Ferrum Forge Lackey fixed blade in carbon fiber and powdered Damascus. And I mean, I shouldn't even have to say anything else, but once again, super functional, super useful, takes a keen, crazy sharp edge. See how I did that? Sorry, every once in a while you've got to. And just the fact that how it catches light, it just is gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful pattern on that Damascus. And the powdered Damascus, these powdered metallurgy Damascus take a super nice edge because the grain structure on them are so fine because it is powdered metallurgy. I mean, look at that. And this has gotten some use and some carry. I would like to say that this isn't something that I keep separate, but it kind of is. I don't carry it as much as I would carry some other things because about the time I got this was about the time that these got released. And this has had much more time in pocket and on belt than this knife. I shouldn't say pocket. It absolutely does not go in my pocket. So once again, there we go. So let me go ahead and I'll move all this stuff and I'll show you the honorable mention and I'll tell you which one I think is my favorite out of these 5. So I would imagine at this point, a lot of you guys can guess when I said that it was a one-off of one of Elliot's knives. I bet a lot of you guys are going to be able to guess what knife I'm talking about. And that is my Ferrum Forge Archbishop. That was a one-off that Elliot had done with a textured area in the middle and then anodized, masked this off and then anodized after the black ceramic was done. Green hardware, green standoffs, two-tone black blade. This is probably one of my favorite knives I've ever owned, if not my favorite. And it is so aggressively sharp and the blade shape is just so perfect. But this is another knife that people see and they're like, oh my God, that is gorgeous. And I cannot disagree. So this would be an honorable mention, I guess. It probably could have gotten included in, but I wanted to do just 5. And this one was not, I didn't want them to all be Ferrum Forge knives because their knives are great, but I just didn't want it to be all Ferrum Forge knives. But you can see that this was all hand done finishing, all hand done work, super incredibly useful knife. And as you can see, it gets used. There is some wear and tear on this knife. I've actually had to have the pocket clip repaired twice, and I actually broke my HRD in this one and had to have it replaced. So let's go ahead, and I think maybe you guys can figure out which one of these is my favorite. But I would have to say, if I had to pick one of these knives that was my favorite, not just for aesthetics, but just for general, overall everything, it would have to be my Master Blaster. This knife probably has had more use than any knife in my collection. As you can see, I don't know if you guys have heard me talk about how resilient ceramic is on these knives. This knife gets used constantly. It gets carried, it gets adored, it gets loved, it gets taken care of. And this is probably not just visually my favorite knife that I have or have had. It's really important because it was a gift from some really good friends. So that's it, guys. That's my favorite right there. I think that's the one that if I had to pick one, if I had to get rid of everything else that you just saw, I think this would be the one that I would have to keep. So with that being said, let's go ahead and flip this around and do some final thoughts. So I wanted to do this video because I just wanted to show that knives can be not just functional, and they don't all have to be inside this little window of, oh, it's a black handle and this and that. there are a lot of gorgeous, gorgeous knives out there that are still functional. The problem I have with a lot of super ornate custom knives is they're either made in a fashion that you can't really use them. I've had some knives come in, and I've talked about some of the, you know, the Damascus blades that come in that are bound with nickel, like dragon scale Damascus. I don't find that those are just simply art. They're not that functional. They don't sharpen well. The nickel has a tendency to peel away before the other steels, things like that. So knives can be still beautiful and useful. And there are, I'm not gonna lie, I carry some of these knives just because I feel like I want to carry that knife that day. Sometimes I'm in a mood to carry something fancy. A lot of times I'm carrying a functional knife. I will not lie. My Rhea by CJRB, which is a no frills, just straight up work knife, and some of my other knives, I carry those a lot too. But sometimes, even big guys, big manly guys, sometimes we just want to be a little fancy. So with that being said, guys, that's the end of the video. If you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. I just kind of thought this one would be fun. Like I said, if you like them, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down. But please try to tell me why. Don't just hate on a video because you don't like me. That's fine, but I would prefer that you just told me some constructive criticism. If you don't like my videos, just don't watch them, you know? And my content's not for everyone. But if you do like the videos, I am doing a giveaway for paid members. Just a little hint. If you like the videos and want to support the channel, because guys like me and Jared and Metal Complex, we can't do this for free. We don't do this for free. The only reason I'm able to do a lot of these videos is because people have donated knives to the channel or are loaning things. So to those people, I really appreciate it. A lot of stuff here from Jared. Like I said, we don't do it for free. Channels do cost money to run and things like that. So if you want to support the channel, there's several ways. I have the membership below. I have applause. If you just like a specific video, you can go in and donate a set amount to one video if that's what you want to do. And I also have basically 2 merch stores. I have an affiliate link with Ember Shirt Co. And you guys know that there's an affiliate link for my full30.com merch store, which kind of right now is in a state of transition. So there's not a lot of stuff available there. But any support to the channel is great. And if you can't support, you just want to watch the videos, please do me a favor and just share them. I love you guys. Take it easy. Take care of yourselves. Keep it clean in the comment sections. And I will see you in the next video.